Hey guys, how's it going? This is BillyEatWorld, and today we're going to take a look at the MPX PDW from the Dragon's Teeth DLC for Battlefield 4. Now, I've got to say that I've been as a whole pretty impressed with the weapons that DICE have added in Dragon's Teeth, mainly because they're all pretty quirky weapons. The CS5 is a suppressed bolt action, and the Bulldog, Unica, Deagle and MPX are all large caliber weapons that have significant benefits mixed with some pretty big drawbacks. As far as PDWs go, the SIG MPX is a bit like the UMP in that it's a modular submachine gun design that in the real world can be converted to fire a range of different calibers. The variant that we have in BF4 fires the 40 caliber Smith & Wesson cartridge, which is funnily enough the same caliber as the UMP 40, which is the only UMP that we're missing in BF4. The point of these large caliber subguns is to provide a greater punch than a standard 9mm submachine gun, but this comes at the expense of more recoil and a lower rate of fire. But anyway, let's take a look at the MPX's stats and see how it performs in game. The MPX fires at a reasonably fast 850 RPM and deals 27 damage out to 12 meters, which drops off to its minimum damage of 13 at 50 meters. This translates into about a 4 to 5 shot kill at close range or an 8 to 9 shot kill at long range. This means that it's really not hitting that much harder than an assault rifle at close range, and it's doing a lot less damage than a carbine at long range. The problem with this is that in Battlefield 4 there's very few maps where you can consistently engage targets at close range, so you can expect to get outshot at mid to long ranges on a regular basis. Also, it's not the king of the pack in terms of high DPS close range weapons either. It's definitely better than average, but there's at least 2 to 3 weapons in just about every category that will outdamage the MPX in close quarters. As for its other stats, well, it does have a relatively decent reload speed, reloading from empty in only 2.7 seconds and in 2.1 seconds with a bullet still in the chamber. But considering it's only got a 26 round capacity, you can expect to be reloading a lot. Also, it's got a pretty low muzzle velocity of 340 meters per second and a pretty terrible standing ADS spread of 0.4. It does have a better than average moving ADS of 0.8 and a base hipfire of 1, but needless to say this still isn't very accurate and you're bound to miss shots from time to time. One thing that I will give the MPX though is that its recoil is lower than it really should be, considering that it's a large caliber weapon. It's got a vertical kick of 0.36 and a horizontal pull of 0.3 to both the left and the right. This is still pretty average, but it's fortunately low enough to give you a little bit of leeway when it comes to barrel attachments. So the question is the MPX actually worth using? Well, by now, I think you've probably realised that the short answer is no. The MPX is different, sure, but it's unfortunately not really different enough to stand out amongst a range of already decent guns available to the engineer class. For a better time to kill, the ASVAL easily beats out the MPX, and for all-round versatility, the ACWR and the PDWR are both better options. I mean, even the MTAR is probably a better all-round gun than the MPX, and I don't enjoy using the MTAR at all. Don't get me wrong though, the MPX is good compared to a lot of PDWs, and it's decent enough for close-range combat, but the problem is that it's not really good at any one particular role, and it's not really a good all-round weapon either. The other problem is that I doubt they could patch this gun to be consistent with the rest of the weapons in-game, and still be sort of realistic to how it works in the real world. The 40 caliber round can't realistically do the same damage as the 45 ACP used in the UMP, so increasing the max damage to 33 is probably out. DICE have also said a number of times that cyclic rate is meant to be consistent with the real world, so I doubt they'll change the MPX's rate of fire, and reducing its recoil wouldn't be realistic either, considering it already fires a reasonably big round. If I could change the MPX, I'd probably suggest increasing the magazine size or muzzle velocity, because I think that if anything, they're probably the only things that you could realistically change and still be consistent with the rest of the weapons in-game. Unfortunately, if they don't balance it, I think at the end of the day the MPX is probably going to be just another average PDW that hardly anyone uses and most people will forget about. This is kind of a shame because they've obviously tried to make this gun unique, but have ultimately ended up balancing it into the middle of the pack. But anyway, to finish up this video, what attachments work best with this gun? Well, my pick would probably be any one-time sight with suppressor, laser sight and ergo grip. The MPX's biggest advantage is in close quarters, so staying off the minimap is essential to avoid getting snuck up on. The suppressor will nerf your muzzle velocity back to a ridiculous 180 meters per second, but as this gun is pretty terrible at long range to begin with, this shouldn't cause you too many issues assuming that you're already used to leading targets. The laser sight and ergo grip will make hipfire and moving ADS much better, which ultimately is what PDWs are designed for, and you'll find with this combo most of the time you actually won't need to aim down sights at all. If for some reason you really do want to use this weapon at long range though, I found it actually does run okay with the heavy barrel. You could maybe throw on a stubby grip with this combo and try and counteract the gun's standing ADS, but I'd recommend just sticking with the ergo because the heavy barrel still doesn't turn this into a stop and pop long range weapon. In any case, I'd avoid the muzzle brake and compensator because this weapon certainly doesn't need to be more inaccurate than it already is. But anyway, let me know what you think about the MPX in the comment section below. Do you think that it's a good weapon or just another average gun? As always, please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and if you haven't already, please check out all my other Battlefield 4 videos. I've got them all linked in a playlist in the description below. But until next time, see you later and have a good one.